Amy. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, and I'm also an NPC bikini competitor. And this is my week 20 reverse vlog. I know I say this every week, but I cannot believe it has been 5 months since my last show, and the weeks are just flying by. I don't have feedback from my coach yet. Usually I talked about that in the intro, but he competed yesterday. So I'm sure I'll be getting it probably today or tomorrow, but not a lot of changes, I'm assuming, will be coming this week, just kind of based on how everything is going. Things are progressing well. If you watched my last week video, my feedback was actually in the outro, and he was pleased with the kind of moderate amount of weight gain we've been getting, and also just my recovery, and everything is, feeling like it's moving along well. So I have some very exciting things coming up in the next week and a half. I actually, by the time you guys see this, I will be leaving for the Arnold in like a day. Super excited to get out to watch the Arnold, also get to watch my coach. I will insert his channel here if you guys want to follow him. He's great at documenting his prep, and it's really interesting to see his prep as well. See how the bodybuilders do it versus how the bikini competitors do it. It has been pretty cool. So that's going to be fun, and just catching up with all of my bodybuilding friends in person and getting to watch the Arnold. It's a pretty stacked lineup this year. I'm really excited, not only in men's open, but also in men's classic physique. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Wesley Vissers, and I'm excited to see him up on stage, and just everybody. The open category is going to be insane with Samson, and just so excited to see everybody compete. Of course, also excited to watch the women's categories. At the Arnold, they only have women's fitness, bikini, and wellness. So not all of the women's categories in the main Arnold. In the amateur, they have all the, I think all of the other women's categories except fit model is not going to be there this year. But it will be really interesting to watch that as well, and just to take in the expo and just all of the fun bodybuilding things. But it's going to be kind of a whirlwind up until then. So this is my last week, full week before I leave for the show. So I definitely need to pack this week. Need to finish the cookie dough prep hopefully today. I'm going to get out to the store today. It's really cold. I think it was like 9 degrees this morning, but the sun is shining, which makes it a little bit better than yesterday. And the next, I think, 5 days on our weather forecast are supposed to just be snowing and in the teens and or low 20s. So of course, the day I leave for the Arnold, it gets up to like 60, of course, but spring will eventually be here. By the time I get back from the Arnold, it will be March. And I always say in March, all things are possible, because it's finally starting to feel like spring here and there. The sun starts coming back more and more every day, and it just makes it feel like everything is possible in March. Yeah, it's all good. A thought I had this morning as I was out and about early when it was very, very cold is, oh my goodness, I don't think I'll ever compete at the Arnold. I cannot imagine being, 9 days out from a show and having it be like sub-zero temperatures. I mean, last week was so cold, the week before was cold. I'm like, there's just no way. I don't know if I could leave my house. I'd be a shut-in attached to my emotional support heater and not doing anything else. So yeah, I'm excited for everybody and everything there. And again, if you're going to be there, please come try and find me. I'll be at the Chase Irons booth. I'll put the picture in here again of where it's located on the map. But if you're there, there's an app. You can actually search on the app for locations, and it will show you. That's actually where I got this picture from. So definitely download the app if you're going to be at the Arnold, to make it easier to navigate what is an insane convention center experience. Oh, and I think that's all I've got for this intro. So hopefully you guys enjoyed last week's video where I kind of broke down one of my big nutrition pet peeves. If you want to see more of that, please let me know in the comments below. There will also be timestamps if you want to skip ahead to whatever is coming this week. I'm hoping for some updates on my fit model suit potentially, and just anything else that comes up this week. So without further ado, thank you for joining me on whatever week 20 brings us. All right, so here is my Costco and Walmart haul from the week. I think I mentioned maybe in my last video or in the intro to this video that I am out of everything. I don't want to go too crazy because I am going to be leaving mid next week for the Arnold, but there are definitely some things that I needed, and this is what I got. I can't deny I am going to place a small order for Walmart delivery this week as well, because it was a madhouse. There is a local grocery store here that is on strike, so it was just insane in Costco and Walmart. So I was just like, grab the things that I absolutely needed. And there's a few things I'm going to have just shipped to me from Walmart because I just needed to get out of the store. So let's start with Costco because I didn't get a whole lot at Costco. So I got a big bag of the organic zucchini squash. These have been great. They stay fresh for a really long time, and it's a 3.5-pound bag for $8, which, as I said, is a little bit better than Whole Foods for the organic zucchini, and they're super tasty. I also got a big pack of the chicken breast tenderloins with this guy. If you did not see my video where I talked about my hack for storing these, I definitely recommend cutting them apart. So not trying to put this whole big pack in your freezer, because if you do, they will kind of freeze together and it'll be really hard to separate them when you're ready to take one out. So I cut them all apart so that they're in the little individuals, and I just stack them. So those are great. So I'll keep one out for cooking today, and then I'll throw the rest in the freezer. Also got 3 of these Better Than Bouillon. This is actually the seasoned vegetable base. They've been out of the chicken, and I grabbed one of the vegetable ones a couple of weeks ago, and I love it. It's a little less salty than and this is the reduced sodium, and it is organic. The organic reduced sodium, I really, really love it. It's just a nice, savory, warm treat, but it's kind of tomatoey, and really love these. So I picked up 3 because I think they might be not stocking them in the summer because the stock is dwindling and they have not replenished it since I was there last. I mean, there were only like a few little trays left. So if you like this and it's still available at your Costco, definitely grab it. It's not marked as one of the things that's being discontinued. I think they're probably just not stocking it now that it's not like holiday season potentially. Because, you know, at Costco, if it has a little asterisk by it, they're like actually getting rid of something. This doesn't have that. They just aren't replenishing it. So we shall see. I also got another one of these delicious truffle Parmesan black garlic seasonings. These are so good. I got them when they were on special like 6 or 7 months ago. I mean, it lasts a really long time. It's a really big container. It's like $9, and oh, it's really good. And a little goes a long way. It's pretty salty. I mean, it does say that there's 0 macros, but that's for 510 servings. It does have actual cheese in it. So this isn't something that I would really use a lot of on prep, but when I'm in my off season, it's a really tasty treat. And I got another sauerkraut, which you guys have seen in almost all of my Costco hauls. So that was what I got at Costco. Everything else today came from Walmart. So that included a bag of organic carrots. These look like really, really pretty carrots. Got a bag of the sweet peas, and then 2 bags of the Brussels sprouts. I like the Brussels sprouts just fine from Walmart. I prefer the ones from Trader Joe's still just because they're really itty bitty, like they're little, which is really nice. But these ones, what I do is I just, I'll usually pull some out, like weigh out what I'm going to use for dinner, 30 minutes or so before I'm going to eat. And they defrost just enough where I can kind of chop them up and then chop them up and put them with the rest of my vegetables. So definitely like those a lot. They're really good. I got 3 bags of the fat-free mozzarella that I love so much. It's really nice to put on things. Really good macros on that. Also got a big jar of the hamburger dill pickle chips. This is a huge jar. I mean, you can see it next to some of these other items. Well, next to the milk even. Like, this is a really big jar. Really great value, and these are really tasty. Great value. It's a great value. The irony, or the puns. I guess it's not a pun. It just is funny. I also got a vanilla unsweetened almond milk. I would have grabbed 2, but I was, at that point, didn't have a cart. I was carrying all this myself and didn't want to cause an accident, so decided just to grab 1. Be smarter about it. I also picked up a Monster Ultra Vice Guava. I have tried this flavor once, but I can't remember what I thought about it. And it's just so pretty. I love its, very Miami Vice vibes. I don't tend to love guava flavored things, but I also don't remember disliking it. So I was standing in line and there were a whole bunch in the fridge, so that was an impulse purchase while I was waiting. I also picked up a can of these, have become one of my favorite things. This is the Bush's Zero Sugar Added Baked Beans. These are great. The macros on them are pretty good. So per serving, you got basically no fat, 0.5 gram of fat, 26 grams of carbs. Of that though, 12 of those are fiber, FYI, and 7 grams of protein. So these are great. Usually baked beans are super high in like added sugar, and I think they use stevia to sweeten these. They are prepared navy beans, corn fiber, mustard, salt, paprika, cornstarch, onion powder, yeast extract, caramel color, natural flavors, sucralose. So I use sucralose and garlic powder, but sucralose is the second to last ingredient. So they're not sweet, which is nice. They're just really tasty. I really like those. And it's a really big can. And I think I got 50 cents off. I think I had a coupon for that. So that was great. Also picked up a box of raisins. I'm finishing up my Arnold cookie prep, and Cullen's favorite cookie is oatmeal raisin. So some raisins for Cullen's cookies. I also got a box of these little square snack bags. These are actually like the perfect little size. I think I have a box open. They were perfect. I got them last year for putting cookies in at the Olympia. Here's the size of them. So they're kind of just, they're like the size of a very large man's hand, but they're perfect for putting cookies in. So, you know, you can kind of tell they're a little bit different. They're more square than a typical sandwich bag. I don't know that you'd be able to get an actual sandwich like their snack bags, but I thought this was it just worked out so well. So I'm going to do that again this year at the Arnold, and it was perfect for like 2 cookies with the little parchment in between. They were like the perfect size for that. And the other thing I picked up at Walmart was a bottle of the sugar-free, reduced calorie maple syrup. So that was it. That was everything. I spent, I think, around $84 at Costco and $30 at Walmart. But like I said, I'm going to order, like I need pumpkin and a few other things that I can get delivered to me from Walmart. So I'm going to order those things as well. But for now, this will help me have food to eat today, which is exciting, and for the next few days. And I can finish the cookies. So all good. So in this segment, I'm going to show a bunch of footage from my workouts this week. And then at the end, I have a lot of posing footage. I just saved all my posing footage, and you get to see that all at the end. So this first exercise is programmed in as like a seated lateral on a lateral machine. My gym obviously does not have that. So what I decided to try was putting my cuffs on higher up on my arm, so past the elbow, and doing a lateral raise that way. It felt really good and I liked it, but you'll see in the next, like when I do my second set, I actually face the cable machines because the way the cables came across was really uncomfortable and limiting my range of motion. So on the second set, I flipped around and it felt much better, and I was able to get a lot more range of motion. So these were great. It was a good way to do it, and changes just kind of that angle on the shoulder, a little bit of a different lever of pull than putting the straps like around my wrist or using like the handles. So I really liked these. These were good. Not as good as a side lateral machine, which is one of my favorites, but making do. The next thing I had was, I call these pullovers. So the one thing I really have to focus on with these is making the weight light enough that I don't end up just really over engaging my triceps and my chest to do the movement. And I've played around with these. I think I've shown that before, played around with doing these with the rope pull down, the rope attachment. But I do find that I like the straight bar and, just kind of making my hand position as wide or as narrow as it needs to be to really make sure that I'm getting that good full contraction in my lats, which is where I'm trying to get this. This is, obviously you're gonna have some engagement of the triceps and other things and rear delts, but really getting that stretch at the top and then, giving a good pull through. Next thing I had in this workout was incline dumbbell presses. I think I mentioned that my coach had, I think this was the workout that had flies programmed into it, and I just find those very uncomfortable. So he just put in another set of incline dumbbell presses. These are not I don't try to go super heavy on my chest. It's not a muscle in bikini that we show off. So it's not like it's my primary focus. I just do a couple of sets of chest a week. And then one of my favorite exercises is face pulls. I really love doing these, and I know I make this machine look like super tiny. It's just the angle. I mean, I do have to kneel to do these. If I try and stand, the angle of the pulley is just not quite right. Like I feel like I don't get a good stretch or a good contraction just because it is not the biggest machine ever. So really getting a good pull through on these, and I do use the rope for these. Love these. And just make sure I keep my elbows kind of as neutral as possible. Just so good for the rear delts. And then the setup, I left this part in slower just so you guys could kind of see the setup again. I've shown these before, but I did not have the full camera angle. Yeah, I realized I could just turn my camera, the genius that I am. Just stopped using my camera in that direction, and I was able to get my whole self in the frame. I think I had the cable just one notch too high on this, so it was kind of limiting my range of motion at the top because the cable was like hitting me. But really making sure that I get a full stretch at the top is what I'm really going for. So I get really good stretch at the top on the glutes, and then just, you know, push back through and really keep the tension on the glutes the whole time. And then I just move the bench over. So you kind of want to line the bench up directly with the pulley system so it's really squared up really well. And again, I think I just had that maybe one notch too high. You know, I'm trying to get that good stretch at the top, but I had it one peg setting too high. But these are great. And honestly, I like these better than most kickback machines because I find that kickback machines are sometimes, they never feel like they're set up perfectly. Like at least the ones I've had at gyms available to me in the past, like they were not very adjustable and it never really felt like I was isolating my glutes all that well. And these really do. Like it takes your low back completely out of it. It just really allows you to focus on your glutes. Then I moved over to doing, I think my final set of, this is going to be my face pulls. Yep. Final set of face pulls. Again, just really trying to get that stretch at the top. I really love doing face pulls. And then after that, I went right into a set of, with the same weight actually, a set of cable crunches. I like really getting like a good hold on that contraction, stretching out that abdominal wall and then just really crunching in. Don't do a ton of weighted work with my abs. I'm not trying to like bulk them up per se, but I do need them to show a little bit more when I'm lean. So that's why I add these in once a week. And then the next thing, this is overhead tricep extensions. This is a new one for me in this mesocycle with the more upper body focused. And I like it. You know, it just kind of allows you to really get a really deep stretch on the head of the tricep. Again, this is as high as this cable machine goes. I'm like, who is this machine made for? I mean, I'm tall, but I'm not like as tall as a tall man. I'm very tall for a woman, but I mean, I put that on the very highest setting and like, it still like hits me in the head. And I'm pretty extended forward. So I really like these, just really allowing that stretch on the back end and then full extension on the push through, like really kind of get straight out. These are great. And the last exercise, the tricep extensions, and then these split squats were from a different workout day. As you can tell, I didn't go change clothes in between lifting. So programmed in right here are Smith machine reverse lunges, but I do not have a Smith machine available to me. And I was trying some other variations of reverse lunges, and I'm like, what is the most torturous thing you can do? A split squat. Let's do those. So really focusing again on getting like a really good range of motion here and kind of leaning forward slightly is where I find I get the best focus on my glutes, which is what I'm trying to do. So, you know, it might look like I'm using that back foot, but I'm really not. It's just there as kind of a lever or as a fulcrum to allow me to hinge down low. And I really keep the weight focused on that front leg, and that slight lean forward with my body really helps me feel like I'm isolating my glutes. And I think on split squats, it's one of those things you got to kind of feel it where you feel it. And then here's some very fast action posing footage. This is unedited. This is the real deal. This first set, I got a really bad cramp in my calf. So did reset there, restarted the camera, worked that cramp out. And this is what I do. I go through it over and over and over, make little tweaks, walk it back. I flap my arms around way too much. You do reps in the gym, you do reps when you're posing. Kind of played around with the fit model there a little bit. I still need somebody to actually show me how to do it. Refluffed the hair for one final go. You know, you do want to practice how it's going to be on show day, so the things like hair do matter. I don't do a lot with my hair. I kind of just fluff it behind the shoulder. And here's the final cut at normal speed. This is real time. That's it. So that was my posing and workout from this week. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the shopping haul from the week and also lots of workout footage and lots of posing footage. I have been trying to stick with my goals and pose more, and so I thought it might be interesting for you guys to get to see the whole posing. You know, I don't just do it once. I go back and forth and sing to myself and fluff my hair and flap my arms around way too much, and you know, it's just getting in those reps. So let's start off. Oh, before I forget, I'm holding this in my hand for a reason. There was a comment on one of my videos recently saying that they loved the lip combo I had on, and I wanted to talk about what it was. So it is this, it's from NYX. It is the Fat Oil Lip Drip, and this is in the color Newsfeed. It looks really red when you look at it, but it goes on really sheer. And I love these. I love that they're not sticky. And they are somewhat hydrating, and they also fade really naturally. So all the colors I've tried 2 colors of these, and I've loved them both. So they're really good. I think the other one I have is maybe called Supermodel. This one is Newsfeed, maybe, but it's more of like a richer berry color. And yes, I did just get back from the gym, and no, I did not wear this at the gym. I put it on specifically so I remembered to talk about it. So that's what this was. Yeah, so love that. All right. Let's talk about my feedback from Aaron. As I mentioned in the intro, I had not gotten feedback yet, but I didn't expect there would be any changes, and there are no changes. So he did take out the chest flies that I requested, took those out of the plan entirely, put an additional set of incline dumbbell presses in at one point during the week, but you know, chest is not really my focus. As a bikini competitor, it's not something that you know, is judged or that we work on. And that's, I think I mentioned that too in my workout footage, you know, so I like doing incline dumbbell presses. Like they feel good, good range of motion for my shoulders, and gives enough, you know, enough work on the chest and enough work, a little extra work on the anterior delts. So all good there. So no changes, stick with the plan. He did recommend that I talk to my doctor about potentially starting some metformin to kind of help control my blood sugars a little bit more, which I did do this week. I'm not excited to do that. And Aaron knows, I mean, he and I have talked about this. I was prescribed it back in 2019. And it took me, oh gosh, probably a solid 3 months of taking it before it did not make me so unbelievably nauseous. I almost stopped taking it. But then it was weird because as soon as the nausea went away, it like went away and never came back. I mean, it was brutal. It was so bad. So, I mean, I know I need to take it, but I want to wait till after I get back from the Arnold. So that's why I'm like not in a hurry to start taking it right now, because oh my goodness, it makes me, or at least it did in the past, made me really nauseous. I stopped taking it like in 2020, you know, a lot of things were going on in 2020 and never started again, but clearly it is probably something that I need to be on, given my family history of type 1 diabetes and my, you know, kind of blood sugar dysregulation issues. So there's that. That was the check-in from Aaron. So I'm going to talk about my check-in from the week. What I sent to Aaron, so for this week for my check-in. I will also put my check-in photos up. You've already seen my posing footage. There are my check-in photos from the week. And let's talk about what I sent Aaron for feedback this week. So first question, digestion. I feel like we could just skip that. I said none. Well, we never know. I might have digestive issues. Oh, and that brings up, Robin asked me on my last video to talk more about digestion. And yes, it is something that so many women really do struggle with, especially in an off season where they're pushing food, or even when they're in prep, like some women's digestion is just destroyed. So I will absolutely discuss that in a future video. It'll be after I get back from the Arnold, but definitely something I'll talk about. And it's not something that have not dealt with in the past. So my digestion is great now, but it hasn't always been that way. So it's something I actively work on, and that's why it's good, at least for now. So I mean, that can always change, but for now, at least, no digestive issues. How are you feeling? Overall well-being. Sorry, a sip of coffee. I said good. Notable increase in weight this week. I can definitely see the increases everywhere in my pictures as well. So not only feeling it, like definitely things are getting tight, but I can definitely see it also. I think I mentioned that either in my last video or in the intro about the kind of instant return of cellulite when I started the estrogen cream. Like, whew, yeah, that came on fast. I mean, like, feel like overnight. I feel like I'm reaching a body fat percentage that does not need to go a lot higher. When Erin and I first started working together, we kind of talked about getting my body fat percentage up to, the 20% range, which is a healthy place for a woman to be. When I did that DEXA scan at the end of or in between my shows, I think I was around 10%, which is definitely not a healthy place for a woman to hang out. So, that was kind of our goal. I said I forgot to mention last week that the reason I'm sending pictures of my competition suit bottoms is because my posing suit bottom has become too small for my growing booty. They were getting indecent, and I mentioned that in the intro. Hopefully my fit model suit will be here soon so I can wear larger bottoms and not have to use a comp suit. I mean, I don't know that I would ever wear that suit on stage anyway, and man, they fit so well. Those are from Toxic Angels. Like, they just make such great suits. Like, I can't wait to get the fit model suit. I will never leave them. Like, they make the best suits. So the suit fits really well at my higher body fat percentage. So it's good, but again, I don't know that I'd ever wear it again to compete, but I also don't want to wear it out or make it so that I couldn't sell it again. It has glue on it that I can't get off, so I don't know that I would necessarily sell it anyway. It got like stained from the tan. It stained it that purple that didn't come out, and it has some glue spots that have never come out, so I don't even know if I'd be able to sell it for much. So I guess it's fine for a check-in suit bottom, but it's just so pretty, and I don't want to ruin it, so they're totally unrelated. How's my recovery? What week of the meso I'm in? I'm on meso week 3 already. It's just crazy. I said no real soreness, but my muscles do feel well worked during my workout sessions, but I'm well recovered by my next session. So that feeling of like, you don't want to be seeking constant soreness, but like you can tell, like, yes, this muscle got worked today, like, or it feels really good and pumped while I'm working out, but it's not like I'm like super sore. And I shouldn't be. I mean, the volume is meant to be recoverable. So that means it's good programming. Any exercise I'm having issues with? I said none. Thank you for removing flies. Anything else I should know? I said I leave for the Arnold on Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing you and the whole crew. My average steps were quite a bit lower than average this week. It has been extremely cold and very snowy here all week. Oh, it's been the worst. Today is actually sunny. So I've not been getting out for walks in the evening. I mean, I usually average anywhere from 13 to 18,000 steps a day. And this week my average was like, I think it was, it pulls it from my tracker. I mean, it was like 11,000. So like for me, that's really low. I mean, it was bitter cold, like too cold to safely be out, just like going for a leisurely stroll, and snowing and just, yeah. So my steps were down. And I don't count like cardio. So it's not like my cardio changed, but that definitely does impact kind of things overall. You're hitting your step goal. I still hit my goal. His goal for me is 8,000. So it's not like I'm not still hitting that goal, but for me, it's a lot lower. So did want to let him know that. I'm sure I'll be getting lots of steps next week at the expo. Weather is supposed to be getting nicer here after this weekend, so my steps should be back up to usual, which, like last night, I was able to go for a walk. I walked over to Whole Foods to do some Amazon returns, and it's like a mile, like it's each way, so it's not crazy, but it's just a good walk. I love getting a good walk in the evening, if it's above 0 or above freezing. Blood pressure, my blood pressure was up just ever so slightly this week. Water, how'd I stick to the diet? Quality of sleep. Quality of sleep was pretty good. I had I had one night where I didn't sleep super great, but for the most part I slept well, just still not sleeping enough. And again, that is completely on me. Digestion, 10. Energy I put as a 7. I did feel kind of a little bit more tired this week, but I think it was just the weather. I've mentioned this before. I'm like that villain in Superman, who I looked up his name last time. It was like Solar or something, which makes sense because he was, you know, fueled by the sun. But, you know, when it's really cold and like just not getting that fresh air, like I was just not feeling like completely like my energy was where it usually is. And I think a lot of that was just the factors that were out of my control with the weather. Stress, I put it as an 8 out of 10. I said I have been extremely stressed this week. Last week too, I was really stressed. Work stress is very high and trying to coordinate everything with the Arnold. Like I'm just feeling that pressure. I mean, work's been really intense and like it's like a quick trip and I just want to be able to enjoy it and make the most of it. But I have a lot still to do to prepare for it. So getting all of that in check and in place. My glucose, my steps, supplement stuff, I said, or any side effects with anything, I said, I feel like I immediately developed cellulite when I started the estrogen cream, definitely seeing fat distribution in areas that are more estrogen driven. I see that as a good sign that the estrogen is likely on the rise and working in general. Some other overall feelings that my cycle may be, and in general, I'm feeling more signs and symptoms that my cycle may be returning soon. I said, fingers crossed. You know, when you've had a cycle for decades, you kind of do start to see these things come back. And I actually mentioned this to my assistant this week that, you know, when you haven't had your menstrual cycle or your period for so long, like you get really used to not having it. And then of course I was like, oh my gosh, is it gonna come back at the Arnold? I'm like, well, if it does, that's fine. Like you just get so used to like not dealing with it that, you know, when you have to just, it's something to think about. Like, oh, am I prepared should this arrive? You know, yes, you live in a developed nation, you're good. So just, you know, those are good, you know, good things to think about. Meaning that the signs and symptoms are there that perhaps this is returning. So not yet, but we'll see. How is my training, my pumps in the gym? I put them as an 8, like getting some good pumps. How does the workload feel? I put it as a 7 because again, it's not like the sessions are not overwhelming, but I am supposed to be pushing it a little bit more on this meso week 3. So definitely trying to really push the weights up a little bit higher as the week has gone on and made some good progress there on some like higher weights than previous lifts. So that's good. My sleep score, any exercises, anything you should know about training, anything that causes joint pain, nope and nope this week. Sleep score, and then my resting heart rate, my HRV. Resting heart rate, HRV were about where they were, about on par with where they've been for the last few weeks. They're a little bit higher than they have been historically for me, but like I said, I've been a little bit more stressed. So yeah, so that was it. So then pictures, which you've already seen, and yeah, so that's what I sent to Aaron for my check-in this week, and we will see what he has to say. He is, of course, competing in the Arnold on Thursday, which I will be there for to see, which is going to be so cool. Man, talk about a crazy turn of events for the Arnold. It has turned into kind of a different show because of, or the amateur Arnold, with Sam Sulek winning his show this previous weekend. So he is going to be there, and he is, you know, if you don't know who that is, he is a very, very famous YouTuber who has just been, you know, a general gym guy and jumped on stage. So that's bringing a lot of buzz. There were tickets available even earlier or later at the end of last week that are now like completely sold out. So I'm sure it's going to sell out, and it's going to be just a crazy event. And now just with so much other buzz going on, it's been really cool. So the lineup is going to be amazing. All the athletes are looking so incredible. Can't wait, of course, to be able to watch all these amazing athletes on stage, all the men, all the women. They do wheelchair athletes as well for men and women at the Arnold, which is really cool. I have seen Arnold Schwarzenegger a number of times in real life, so like that to me is not super exciting. He would come to Aspen all the time. He skied there and I think maybe had a house there. So I saw Arnold a lot when I lived in Aspen. So I'm not going to fangirl out on that, but just so excited to get to see all my bodybuilding friends and, you know, kind of just take it all in. So I am dealing with feeling like a fat athlete. Some days I deal with that better than others, but dealing with it. So luckily I have very supportive friends who know that I'm just in my off season and not just giving up on life and getting fat. So that is good and reassuring. But I think that's all I've got. My video next week will likely not be out on Monday just because I am flying back from the Arnold on Sunday. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to edit. footage and put things together and how my check-in's even going to go. I mean, I guess I do an in-person check-in on Thursday with my coach. He will be there so I can get in-person feedback, which is cool. That's going to be actually really cool. I didn't even think about that. I get to get in-person feedback from my coach. That's a first for me. That's very, very cool. So I'm excited. I will do my best to get a video out as quickly as possible after I get back from the Arnold. And Robin, I got you, girl. I will talk about digestion and all my nutritional therapy hacks and tips and all the things. So until then, the sun is shining here today. It's supposed to be above freezing for many days in a row, which is great and new. We haven't had a week like this in quite some time. But I hope you are also enjoying some sunshine. And please remember to spread positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you. You are worthy. You deserve it. I am so thankful for you and so thankful that you have stayed to the end of this video. And I'll fill you in on how the cookies go also. That'll be in the Arnold recap. Tell you how the cookies went. Hopefully get some people to respond to cookies in person. But until then, have an amazing week and I will see you all here next time.